Now I know that guy was really mad. How many hits did I just tank in that last clip? That is probably one of the more redeeming factors about this plane, is it's very, very tanky at times, but it's not necessarily always the best thing to rely on. Welcome to the most painstakingly average plane in the game. This is the Mystere IIC. It doesn't really have a good turn rate, but it's not really bad. It doesn't really have good acceleration. No, that's actually still bad. It doesn't really have a slow top speed. It just takes forever to get there. It's not bad. It's like 1060, 1040, something like that. But this plane is a challenge. I'll tell you what, it is a challenge. This is not the plane that you want to take out solo and think that you're going to carry the match, because it just ain't happening. Maybe if it's a down tier and you're facing 7.7s, you definitely can dunk on them. But this plane, I tell you what, you take this plane in a vertical, it has very good energy retention in a vertical, and it actually has really good maneuverability in a vertical. Now, I love toying with Migs in this thing because, well, it's definitely a challenge. As you see, he doesn't have room to get a shot on me, so I'm nice and slow. I'm going to drop my nose back down. And at this point, I'm really slow. I'm not going to follow him for another vertical pass. He's got more power than me. That's a definite. So I drop my nose, and I run away, and I reset. And this is kind of the problem with this plane, is once you do bleed all that speed, you're going to have a hell of a time getting it back. And that's why this plane is more of a support plane than anything. But at this point, I'm just going to drag him out a little bit. I want to get away from that other MiG behind him. But I don't think it's really going to happen, because here's where the acceleration just is not good enough. MiGs don't have good top-end acceleration, but it's still better than this. But watch what I do to this poor guy. I get him nice and close. Thankfully, he doesn't have very good aim. He probably could have popped me right there, but I start taking him in a vertical. Drop the throttle a little bit, tap the air brake just a little bit. Now, the air brake don't do a lot, but we just follow him in the vertical. We're right with him all the way up, and just, And that is about the only really redeeming factor that I like about this aircraft. I have pulled so many of those off. But the reality is, this right here, this is my average game. I don't get a hell of a lot of kills in this plane. It's mediocre. It really is. But in most cases, the problem I have with this plane is it doesn't have good acceleration. So if you want to get your speed, you have to take a little time to do it. Now, you really want to get altitude as well, because if you don't get altitude and you bleed your speed, then you're a sitting duck on the deck, because you can't convert that altitude back into airspeed. So basically what I'm saying is side climb. But the problem with side climbing in a jet match is if you are not aggressive, especially at the beginning of the match, and you can't maintain that aggressiveness, then you can't kill people, you can't help your team. And that is where I have a problem with this plane. So I went in, I had an air spawn on this map, I got a little aggressive on the first guy, but I didn't have enough speed to really control the fight. Now, speed is life. Speed keeps me safe from these guys that could dive on me, or the guys that, end up on my butt. I might be able to outrun them at least. But unfortunately, this is the reality of it. So right now, the dogfights are all happening. There's small furballs. There's actually 2 furballs on this match. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go to. I figured my guys were outnumbered on this side. I go over here and help them. Now, I'm diving in. I've got a little bit of airspeed. I figured this F9F would compress harder than I did. But unfortunately, I cannot line up the shots. So there is a little bit of a compression issue with this plane. It's not that bad. but it just, I wasn't able to line up that shot, so I continue on. And you see the energy bleed is not that bad. I'm pulling full elevator right now, but I'm not going to be able to get that shot. So I go ahead and I go up. I convert my energy back into altitude, and this is kind of how I play this plane. It's kind of like the old MiG-15, MiG-17 flight style, but the problem is, like I said, the acceleration sucks. So coming out of this climb, I'm not going to have the same energy that I had to start with, but it's better than trying to do it on a horizontal. So we've made one sweep. We're coming back in. Honestly, I'm really just trying to keep my teammates alive at this point. I'm trying to play the support role. So I'm diving in. I make a pass on that guy. Get a crit on him. That is enough to put him out of the game. He will die soon. Maintaining my speed. As you see, I'm not doing 1,000 kilometers an hour again, but it's enough. Missed a shot. And at this, I really need to get aggressive. I really need to start killing people. So I start turning a little bit more aggressively. Bleed a little bit of speed going up, and I come back down on top of this guy. Still trying to keep my teammate alive, because if I can have one teammate to help me out, I'm better off. Especially right now when I'm watching my team on the other side of the map in the separate furball, they are getting annihilated. So I already know that this match is a loss. There is nothing I can do when I'm flying solo in this plane. We missed that shot, and I see the meteor coming in from behind me, so I decide, alright, it's time to extend. I don't want to get caught up with a meteor. I'm not saying that... It's just not a good idea. I might be able to turn with him, but it's just not a good idea. But at the same time, here comes a B-57, and this, again, is where the vertical really pays off in this plane. I see the other two have turned around. They're not chasing me anymore, so I set up. I figure, well, let's just see what this plane can do. I don't necessarily want to fight him, but he's getting aggressive, so let's see what happens. I take him into the vertical. I kind of roll in the wrong direction, and I realize that was a mistake, so I tank a couple shots. Engine damage now, but I'm still going up, and he is now below any maneuverability speed that he had. So I'm just taking it up. I pop out the landing flaps to create more drag, accelerate my stall. I know he's not pulling his nose up. I stall, I bring the nose back down. Hook, line, and sinker, and we got him. But now I'm hosed. Because here comes the rest of the enemy team. And this becomes a problem. If I was in an F2 Sabre, I might be able to get a couple kills on these guys. I might be able. There's a very, very, very small chance I could have survived this if I was in like another Sabre. Something that can go a lot faster. Something that can accelerate better. Something that has just generally better maneuverability and is an overall better aircraft. But this is the Mystere IIC. We don't have those liberties here. So here is my impending death. I try my hardest. I start my turn a little bit early because I know if I let these guys get right behind me, they're going to glue to me. I don't outturn a Sabre. I don't outturn a MiG. And I also have another Mystere IIC in there that I have to fight. So I pull the reversal, try to get that shot. I miss it. I see another guy pulling in front of my guns. Line it up, spray a little bit. Manage to get a crit. That's nice, but it wasn't a kill. And now I'm definitely hosed. I love the adrenaline rush of stuff like this, but I'd rather it be like, 2-on-1, not the entire team on me. And this is the reality of flying this plane. If you fly it solo, you will be in this scenario unless your team just happens to be better. You'll never be able to carry it. At this, I'm just dodging these guys. I'm trying to get these reversals, can't line up the shots. I'm just really lucky at this point that none of these guys can manage to hit me. But they're all just taking passes on me. There's nothing I can do. Can I get an F? Can I get an F? Because here it is. Nope, there it is. Bye-bye. Good game. If your team crumbles, you're just not going to have any luck in this plane. It's a support plane. So that being said, let's try again. I told Rip the other day that, hey, buddy, I need some help. This is a support plane. I can't do it by myself, so I asked Rip to come give me a hand, be a squad mate. So here we are, taking it out. Take a head-on with a Swift. Swift has a really good roll rate. Should not be underestimating the head-on, and he almost got me, and that is exactly what you got to be careful of with the Swift. Unfortunately, this thing does not have the greatest roll rate. Doesn't have the greatest anything, to be honest. Now, top speed in this plane, again, like I said, 1040. So we're going to go ahead and try and grab a little bit of this speed here and help out my teammates. And I know that I'm going to try and stay a little bit close to Rip just because it's, unfortunately, how I have to play this plane. But we get a little aggressive on the F-25. Unfortunately, I cannot turn inside him, so I'm just going to extend a little bit, trying to maintain my speed. I don't want to turn too much. I look up and I see the Valtour coming down towards me. He is going fast. I know he cannot dodge a shot. Easy kill, moving on. Coming at the top of this turn, I'm a little bit slow, so I pitch my nose down just a slight bit so I can gain speed. We're moving on. We're going to go help Rip because he's tangled up with a MiG-15. Pulls towards me, looking at the head-on, miss him, and he almost pulled in front of my guns. But hey, we move on. My main goal in this entire fight is really just to make sure that a Sabre or a MiG does not get right behind my butt, because if they do, chances are I won't be able to shake him, and if they decide to air brake me, I am dead. So do not ever, 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 ever let a MiG or a Sabre get on your butt. The rest of them you can fairly outmaneuver or outrun them. It's not as big of a deal. One of the other problems I have with this plane is it only has 2 Defa cannons. Now, Defas are very good. They have very good HE filler. They do a lot of damage, but the problem is there is not a lot of bullets. So we pop the shot. Really long. They're kind of slow. We managed to get a crit on him, but it's not enough to actually do damage. And then Rip almost hits me, but we move on. So I'm trying to finish off the kill, and here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So some of these bullets are off, some of them are on. That one I feel like was on right there, but there is no bullet density. So there is a very high chance that people will fly between your bullets when you shoot. So kind of get used to it. I struggled killing this guy. I really did. Feel like those bullets should have hit maybe a little bit low. Still couldn't do it. Got an F9F coming in. Looks like he's not really paying attention to me, but I'm going to go ahead and sneak in behind him because I don't want to get slow, which is what I would have had to do to kill that Sabre right there. So right now I'm grabbing my speed. I'm coming back in towards the fight. I don't want to climb yet because I don't really have enough speed. But these guys over here are on the run, and then there's also the one, the G91 on the deck over here. So I know that I should be able to at least get a kill or two here. These guys don't really see me coming. I'm slow. They don't see me as a threat, so I can sneak up and get a couple. Grab a couple AA targets because, yeah, they're shooting at me, so I'm going to shoot back. But the G91's kind of not really paying attention. He turns in for the last second head-on. I pull off, dodge him, F9F. I did not even see him turning towards me, so I wasn't ready for that. We pull back off. We come down behind them. And you see how that little bit of maneuvering cost me a little bit of speed. It's not too bad, but this plane never ever really gets to its top speed. It just doesn't have the acceleration. Continuing on, they're running a little bit. They're very much capable of being faster than me, so I just kind of have to wait for them to turn, wait for them to do something. And the F9F finally turns. And this is my opportunity. He's busy dodging that guy, not really paying attention to me. Lob the shot, we get him, and he is done. And unfortunately, that's how I play the plane. I look for the easy kills. It's kind of sad to admit. Because in a one-on-one, this plane's not that bad. In a one-on-one, this plane actually can be fun. It's a fun challenge, but you will not be able to handle multiple enemies. The plane is just not good enough. So they either have to present themselves to you, like that R4 did, and then I miss him, and I miss him again. And then I'm going to continue to miss him a little bit more because, well, I don't know. But the other problem with this plane is it actually... like, the air brake doesn't do jack, so I back off on the throttle because if I overshoot him, I am dead. I am dead if I overshoot that guy. The only chance I might have is being able to energy trap him, so I have to do everything I can. So now I've got my landing flaps out, tons of drag. The other guys that were in the area, the other enemies, they're running away, so I should be fine. But look at me. I'm struggling so much. And this could be me, but those two bullets, look at that. One, I actually watched that replay. One set went to one side of his cockpit. The other went to the other side of his cockpit. And that's disgusting. But that is apparently how these guns work. So keep that in mind, guys. Support match. Support plane. Not that bad. Rip got a few kills. I got a few kills. It was a good match in the end. Don't expect to, you know, make miracles with this plane. Don't expect to be amazing in it, because it's mediocre. So I'm about ready to wrap this up now. I'm going to leave you with one last dogfight, and I'm going to go ahead and narrate my way through this. So I was trying everything I could. I experimented with this plane. I was trying to find ways to fight Sabres and MiGs. Now the MiGs, at least you can rely on the fact that they don't have very good guns. They don't have a lot of bullets coming at you, and they can't really spray. But when it comes to Sabres, especially with 50 cals or the F2 Sabre, you know, you have to face these things, and they pretty much outperform you in every aspect. But this guy, this is a fight that took me forever right here, and unfortunately he snuck up on me in the clouds. I had no idea what to do. So I started taking him into a spiral. Knowing that this plane actually had pretty decent low speed performance and pretty decent power at low speeds, I decided to take him into this spiral. Now, I'm guessing he can see me, but I can't see him. I can only see the smoke trail, so I don't know if I'm actually gaining distance on him. But I go ahead and I pop the combat flaps and I pull the nose up as high as I can. And it works. Somehow. But now I am completely out of speed, and my only hope is that he does not have any chance to pull up anymore. So he's getting close. He's actually faster than me, which is perfect in this aspect. So I keep my landing flaps out, and I stay nice and slow. I keep the air brake out. I do not want to accelerate at all, because if I get ahead of him, there's no chance. We try to pull the shot, get really close, not enough. I keep the landing flaps out. I keep the air brake out because I do not want to gain any more speed right now. If I gain speed, he's going to drop in right behind me. So I bring him into the combat flaps. That way I can gain a little bit of speed because landing flaps are so much drag. And he starts pulling away from me. So my hope is I can gain a little bit more speed and pull my nose up again. And that's exactly what I'm able to do, but it's not quite enough. And of course, the clouds are not helping me right now. Thankfully, I think this is the last guy on the team. I think there's maybe like a TU4 left. But so I am free to fight this guy, and this is exactly what I wanted. I needed the footage like this, but I can't see the distances on him, even though he's right in front of me, which I really need those. I kind of count on him. But so now we got a little bit more speed. He's trying to dive away. He's picking it up. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing at this point. I don't understand his plan, but he starts going vertical again, which is exactly what I'm hoping for. Pulling in front of my nose. I have no idea where he's at now. This is frustrating, but underled those bullets a little bit, but I'm staying right behind him because he accelerates better than I do. So we just kind of follow him around, and as long as I don't overshoot him, I'm fine. I cannot overshoot him at all costs. I will die if I overshoot him. Still struggling with these clouds. Really hard to see him. Definitely underleading these bullets, but I don't have a ton of maneuverability. So I'm just kind of chilling behind him for now, waiting for my opportunity. You know, these clouds are killing me. I'm hoping we're going to get at him eventually. Trying to lead it a little bit. He kind of dodging them. I think he sees the bullets coming, so now I realize his distance is a little bit farther than I thought, so I definitely was underleading those bullets. But now we're getting out of the clouds, and now things are going to be a little bit better. I keep my nose down a little bit more to gain some speed, and then I start leading his turn. Pop another shot. He dodges it. He's paying attention. He's looking behind him, but he has his air brake out right now, which is actually a pretty bad maneuver against this aircraft because he's faster. He has better acceleration. Still has his air brake out for some reason. And this is going to be about the end of it right there. We get the crit on him. I think it was a flap or something because he's starting to fly sideways, and finish him off. I think he was confused towards the end. He didn't really know what to do. But starting out in the fight, I think the only reason I had a chance of winning this was mainly because I had just a slight energy advantage going into that spiral. Honestly, there's really no way to fight Sabres. My primary way is I make sure that I see them coming, and I lead them into an overshoot. You know, start the turn early. When they turn, they will overshoot, and that's the only way I've found to fight them. So other than that, guys, I don't have a whole hell of a lot to say about this plane. It is a struggle, but you know, you can get a few kills with it. The guns are good. Everything else is just mediocre. Alright guys, well if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I really appreciate the support, guys. Like I say, sorry I couldn't give you a better video on this plane. I enjoy the struggle sometimes, but it's just not that much fun in the end. So I'll leave it off with a little bit of unnarrated footage from the second match I ever played. Mostly down tier. It was just Migs and F-84s. And that is a really good scenario for this plane. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you around. Hope all is well.